Now watch this. Don't get me mad about this. Don't get mad at me about this. Some people are unconscious of their ignorance. Write that down. Everybody write that down. Some people are unconscious of ignorance. They disagree with the methods of work to which they are unaccustomed. Well, if I'm going to have a home group, I'm going to say what I want to say. No, you're not. See, that's your ignorance. That's ignorance going to seed. And the reason why you're a little disturbed about it, because you're unaccustomed to the work. You think, let's face it, your ideas are better than anybody else's because you thought of them. Right? Be honest, your ideas are better. But how many times you said, my God, man, the guy would shut up and let me have it. I can fix this thing. How many times have you watched the game today? Somebody mess up, I'll tell you one thing. I wouldn't call that play. I'll tell you one thing, that's the stupidest thing I've ever seen in my life. I mean, why did Sean, that coach of the New Orleans Saints, tell him not to hit that guy that just tried to stop? Because he only got a few seconds left. I tell you one thing, I just throwed away our opportunity to have a Super Bowl. Shut up. You can't even get on the team, and you have become the water boy could whip you. And you're going to tell somebody how to run a professional football team? What they call that, armchair quarterbacking? Whatever, is that right? I think that's what it's called. Let me say it again. This is in long suffering. Some people are unconscious of ignorance. They disagree with the methods of work to which they are unaccustomed. I just don't like the way the church does that. Let me help you. So, you're just not accustomed to the work. You're ignorant. You're not dumb. By no means, you're just ignorant of that. It'd be kind of odd if you was in surgery and you woke up and say, don't cut there, cut over here. What? Now, you're a therapist, am I correct, my man? Now, you help people to kind of get their body straight, right? It'd be kind of stupid if they hire you and pay you money and you go, no, I don't want to do that. What do you call me for? How many people want to counsel with me and won't do a thing I say? You should have stayed your butt home. You just took time of mine that you didn't need to take. But since you're coming for information, why don't you receive it? See, the reason why me and Kathy sometimes don't agree together, I'll let you fill in the blanks. Sometimes she's unaccustomed of the work. Sometimes I'm unaccustomed of the work or the method of the work. Why do they do it that way? We're not asking you to, we just want you to do. It'd be kind of odd. I see these guys flying planes. Sometimes I think the plane's doing it. I say, are they going to change altitude? Or are they going to let my butt get beat up back here? But they know how to fly the plane. I know how to buy the plane. They ain't got a job without me. I can't go nowhere without them. See, why? Co-laborers together. Do you see that? And then sometime I'll come up there and say, what's that light for? Because I want information. And they'll tell me, well, this is for this. And I got a hard time between ground speed, true air speed, indicated speed. It all has to do with, watch this, temperature, right? Altitude. Oh, I ain't interested in that. I want to be interested in how fast are we going? Well, to determine that, Brother Jesse, we got true air speed. I like ground speed. That tells me this is 2 + 2 is 4. As across the ground, I know when I'm going to get there because I know how fast I'm going. But see, it all changes with true air speed and indicated speed. And they use knots instead of miles per hour. What's a knot? And then sometimes these crazy air traffic controllers forget us. And the two guys are just sitting up there talking. You hear them like, and I think, when are they going to move over? So I walk up there and I go, hey, guys, you think they forgot us? That don't impress the pilots too much. They go, because they are afraid of the FAA. And I've learned something, that there's something up there called commercial aircraft and private aircraft. And commercial aircraft, I think most of the time they want them first. And we could have landed. How many times we coming into New Orleans? And it's at 10:30 at night. Delta's coming in, 11:30, and Southwest is coming in. But my God, and we could have landed, been on the ground, been at the hangar, and they run us out over the West Bank. So Southwest can come by. And Southwest on 737 got to slow down, they can't go as fast as we can land, see? So, and they don't like it when we pass them up. They don't like any of that stuff. But that's the way it runs. That's all in that long suffering. See, I disagree with some of that stuff. Let me show you something about aviation that'll blow you away. Do you know right now in the state of Louisiana, you can't drive a car unless you have insurance? Am I correct? Do you know you don't have to have insurance on a jet? Does that make any sense? You can kill more people with a jet than you ever can with a car. I don't have to put any insurance at all, ma'am, on that jet at all. Just take off. Don't have to do it. That don't make no sense whatsoever at all. Now watch this. They send you to be type rated. So I send Ken and I send Eli to be type rated, okay? Now when they first went to work for me, when we type rated Eli, watch this. Now the insurance wants to tell me if we're going to see if you're going to let him, I don't know if we're going to let him fly. Yo, mama, you ain't going to let him fly. The United States government, the FAA, says he can fly. They type rated him. In essence, they gave him a license. They can fly. Yeah, but the insurance wants to talk. But no. And I remember my first aviation director and also my mechanic said, but Jesse, well, you can't fly because the insurance. I said, get him on the phone. I'll talk to him. And he said, no, you can't. I said, no. I said, you don't tell me when I fly this plane. You just cash the check. We have never had anybody talk to us like that. I said, well, are you hearing what I'm saying? Now, somebody going to take this money. This thousands and thousands. I said, is it you? Because I promise you, I hang up with you, buddy. I'm going to have somebody on the line and we'll take the money. They said, oh, he can fly the plane. Now, I understand what he's saying. Even though he's qualified, he doesn't have hours yet. But he's got a guy sitting in the right seat or got a guy sitting in the right seat saying, if something goes wrong, you got two guys here that are working together very, very well. See what I'm saying? Now, and I understand why, because it's insurance. It's all on it might happen. Well, I don't live my life on might. I live my life on assurance. I live my life on what Jesus said. Do you see that? There's a vast difference. So that's in that long suffering for me too. I need help on that myself. I'm thinking, I need help. Like yesterday, my granddaughter Meredith wanted to go to Toys R Us. Well, we had a good time yesterday. She came and spent the night, Friday night. We had a glorious time, man. And just enjoy. She got up early, ate a little breakfast. I said, well, let's go to the mall and we're going to have lunch. We had lunch at the Cheesecake Factory, I think it was. And me and Meredith just eating our calamari and all that, just enjoying. She's having her sliders and I'm having salad and all that kind of stuff. And all of a sudden I realized, oh, God, this is parade time. I said, Meredith, we're not going to be able to go to the Toys R Us. I could tell she was disappointed. I never told her no. I don't want to tell her no. But I had to show it to her. So when I drove past Lakeside, I looked down and there's the blue lights and they were telling everyone, shut that down. You can't do this. You can't do it. I said, we'll do it next time. She said, but I just only want just a little tall, just something little. I said, well, we're going to go back and you can buy a big one. She said, okay. You can buy a big one then, baby. I wanted to take her to Toys R Us. You know what I'm saying? Why not? But sometimes there are hindrances. So what she had to develop in that car was long suffering. And it's developed in her grandfather's faith that said that he will take her there. One thing I really wanted to do was take my granddaughter to that Toys R Us store. It was such a blessing of the Lord. I mean that. But when the parade was going, you couldn't do it. And it disappointed her. But it also disappointed me. But I had a lesson I could tell her right there and teach her. See, long suffering is patience, ladies and gentlemen. And that was tough for a child because she was waiting to go get a toy. Believe me, I know it can be hard at times to be patient. The Bible said, let patience have its perfect work, that you're perfect and entire, wanting nothing, which means you won't have to want for nothing if you let patience do its job. That's what I was telling my granddaughter. If you let patience do its job, we'll come back to that Toys R Us, and guess what? You will have a knockdown, drag-out, great time walking those aisles getting the things you want. Now, let me say this. Do you realize the power of patience and long-suffering? That's a good question. Do you realize that? Because what's happening is you're building yourself up. Through that faith and patience, you inherit the promises of God. It not only enables us to save our own souls, but also the souls of others. See, when people see you walking when everything going wrong and you just looking at them and smiling saying, my God's going to do what he said. I don't care how long it takes. Who don't want it yesterday? Everybody wants it yesterday. But guess what?
It don't make no difference if I get it yesterday, today, or tomorrow, but I'm going to get it. Look, in order to see patience working in your life, you need to use that pressure of love constantly, which means, Lord, I'm going to love you no matter what I see, because I know your word is true. I'm preaching here. I can't help myself. Let's go back into the message, man. I just enjoy preaching the gospel. It's so wonderful. And let's learn some more. Get a pencil and pad. Take some notes, because you're going to need that today. So watch this. Be blessed.
Kindness must be an active, busy virtue. Kindness, that's in the faith of the Son of God. It has its source in God. It is required by a long practice of self-control and self-discipline. Kindness is gotten through self-control and self-discipline. Why? Because it must be a busy virtue. Busy, active virtue. Notice he said, I live by the faith of the Son. The life I now live in the flesh, I live by the faith of the Son of God. Kindness is in there. Pureness, knowledge, long-suffering, kindness must be an active, busy virtue because it has its source in God. God said, be kind to one another. It is required by a long practice of self-control and self-discipline. Why? Write this down. It's very hard to argue with kindness. You know, you get mad at somebody and they're still kind. I am so sorry, sir. What else can we do for you? Well, I'll tell you one thing. I just don't like this kind of stuff. I understand that. And I can understand how you feel, you know. I said, I wish I could do this for you, but I'm under obligation by my employer. Myself. You go, what? Okay. It's very hard to argue with kindness. Am I telling the truth? But it's created by self-control and self-discipline. Because sometimes you've had enough with enough. See, you've run out of pureness and knowledge and long-suffering. And when you're about ready to just to blow it, kindness kicks in. Because it's an active, busy virtue. Its source is God. God is kind to us every day, even in judgment. God says this, I get no glory in the sinner that dies or the person that sins. My Lord. Be careful when you're flowing in the gift of word of knowledge, when you're flowing in the gifts of spirit, because you can say something to someone that could be hurtful to them. Now, if it's the truth will set you free. But a lot of times people this is what the Lord said. Did he really say that? Or did you feel he said that? Or did you know he said that? That's a vast difference. And even a word of judgment is done in kindness. You see what I'm saying? I'll give you the example. A man was messing up real bad. Paul said, I turn his flesh over for the destruction of it. Watch this. Here's the kindness part. That his soul may be saved. Now, most people say, forget about his soul, forget about just take him out. No, kindness is a busy, active virtue. It's very hard to argue with kindness. I've had Kathy argue with Bill. All of a sudden, I start getting, God said, you're not going to win this, so get kind. Because Kathy going, hold on. And I'm just saying, well, whatever you like me to do, Kathy, that's what I'll do. Well, I tell you, that's what I want you to do. I said, well, that's fine, whatever. Your wish is my command. You just saying that to make me mad. No, I don't want to ever make you mad. We had a little argument going on with Kevin and Kathy in our car. Kathy just got a new car. So these cars today, you need to be a lawyer to figure them all out. There's so many computers, so many buttons and all this kind of stuff. I'm trying to figure out how to put the cruise control on. But Kathy don't want to mess with it. I said, Kathy, would you open up the glove compartment and look at there's a manual in there. Tell me, why would you want to do that? To put the cruise control on. That's the button. I press the button, it's not working. So I know I'm doing something wrong. The car isn't doing something wrong. I said, would you please just do that? Well, I have a hard time looking at it. I guess so, because it's inside the glove compartment. But if you open it up, you can look. I wanted to say that, and I can hear Kevin and Kathy going, so even Kathy, so now, she said, I'll get the app, Brother Jesse. She pulls up the app on her telephone. Well, man, but between me and Kathy is no long suffering, no more. Wasn't mad. It's just, then she read it, and it made no sense. Because it didn't tell us there's a switch. So finally, I dropped them off at their home, And I said, I'm going to find this thing. And not by accident, I believe it was the Lord. My hand slid over something, and something came up in the thing. I went, oh. I said, I got it. No, it's not true. You lying in church, woman. It's not true. I cannot believe. Let me pray that lying spirit out of that woman. Come out in the name of Jesus.
You haven't had the answer yet to go to the pressure point.
Okay. Yeah, Kevin said he had to go to, he didn't know Nita. Kevin didn't know. Kathy's the one with the app. Pressure point. I got you, Kevin. I understand. There was a pressure point, but that's not the pressure point. See, you don't know that neither. I might have to show you that. There's a switch. And watch this. It's not where it's at. It's used. I went, what is that? Wasn't a pressure point, because I kept hitting the pressure point. I kept hitting the thing because it said cruise control. That's not the switch. See, we're arguing again. But kindness is an active virtue. And when I went, now, watch this. It should not be there. That switch should not be there. Because in the other car, it didn't have a switch. You just hit the lever and it come on. You hit the brake, it cuts off. Right? Right? Not this car. This car I want to be smarter. It comes from Harvard and Yale and Duke and Columbia. And I'll show it to you after church. It will blow your socks up. And then, oh. See, that's kindness. Which brings me to the last part. Out of kindness comes love. Comes love, Sister Kathy. Mother Superior. I pardon you. I understand. I got it. The life which I now live in the flesh, I live by the faith of the Son of God. So the faith of the Son of God has pureness, knowledge, long-suffering, kindness, love. Love is twofold. You must love God and man.